Feminism. It's not a dirty word at all. It's a great word. And it's time society reclaims it. So I was 15 years old, and my sister about 10, when my father sat us down to have that talk. So you have two girls growing up in a home in South Africa where there's a lot happening. The only thing you can do is protect your girls. We were growing up very fast for that matter. So he just screams, "Ukavura makumbo ako, ndinokurowa zokuthi unonyera tsamba kuna mbuya kumusha." Simply meaning, if I had had any sexual relationship with any man before I got married, he would beat me up so hard. I would write a letter to my family in Zimbabwe. You can only imagine how scared I was. I couldn't say anything because in a black family, the moment you open your mouth to try and speak out, you're immediately labeled as a disrespectful child. So I kept all the words I had within me inside. I remember my sister and I giggling and just being shy. It was funny, but then I was very, very scared because the way my father screams. So it continued. We signed a contract, you won't believe it, that we wouldn't sleep with anyone. We signed, 15-year-old me and 10-year-old Charlotte. We signed the contract. And I actually don't even remember how my signature looked at that time because it was just bizarre. And so I just couldn't stop thinking, why would my father tell me not to hang around boys? I wanted to know. I was 15. I was at the peak of my puberty years, and I wanted to know so bad. That's when I was in grade 10, and I bumped into a song on the internet by Beyonce featuring a profound feminist and author, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I think most of you know her. And in that song, she voices out the word feminist. And from that moment, I knew I had to go do research because she spoke about it. She spoke feminist, is a person who believes in the equality between sexes. So I knew it triggered something. I ran to the internet, read up everything and almost anything my salty data could afford at that time. And from that moment, I began feeling normal again. There was a word to explain my difference, my weirdness, and that word was feminist. From that day onwards, I knew I was a feminist. Now understand this, I come from a black family. There's no feminist in a black family. Feminists out. So I knew that I could only be a feminist from 8 to 4 when I was with my schoolmates and my friends. And the moment I stepped into my father's house, feminist, bye. Weekends, lucky feminist, she didn't have to work. I was a normal girl, growing in a black family, and I had to do chores. I had to help out my mom with everything she was doing in the house because I was being groomed to being somebody's wife one day. I was being groomed to being somebody's mother one day. So I had to do my best to be the best mother. Now, we are in a society where boy and girl, there's a big difference. And not only in my culture, but in every African culture. And I want to make us understand that it shouldn't be like that. It's time to call change. We shouldn't label our kids as boy and girl and have this classification of, okay, boys are only allowed to do this and girls are only allowed to do this. How many of you mothers always scream at your little girls, don't do stuff like that, you're not going to get married? Because my mother tells me that. Imagine we letting our kids grow up and being succumbed to this sexism at a very young age. Now I'm 20, and 2 years ago, my friend's father passed away. 3 months down the line, She remarries. Very fast, eh? I don't know how that happened. 3 months down the line, someone was like, hey, you look gorgeous. Don't you want to get married? No, it didn't happen like that. She had to be taken by her husband's younger brother, because that's how it works in my culture. We have a practice called kugaranaka, where a widow's husband's younger brother takes her if he's still single, or even make her second wife. She can't say anything. The moment my mother got married, she was her husband's property. She was theirs. And I tried to make my friend tell me. I started formulating ideas in my head like, okay, 1, you're lying to me. 2, your mother is a cheat because she was clearly having an affair while your father was busy fighting for his life in hospital. I became very ignorant. I didn't let her speak. It was then that she sat me down and explained what the whole Kugaranaka practice was all about. Now, let me pose this question. Does culture give you that option of, okay, if this guy has AIDS, you don't have to take him. If this guy is abusive, you don't have to take him. If this guy is just, he can't afford to look after you, you don't have to take him. No, he doesn't. You're his. You're their property. Now, why does our society and our culture, well, all our cultures, most of our cultures in Africa, why do we do this to our women? It's time that we change this. Let us, as a society, allow our women to grow, to be dreamers and achievers that they're born to be. Let's not limit them. Whether you're from KZN, whether you have a modern lifestyle here in Cape Town, let that not be a label that's put on you as a traditional woman or a modern woman. We're all women. And it's time society understands that. I'm a feminist. I'm not about bra burning, men hating, and not shaving, because that's what most people think. It's not about that. It's making people understand that women are strong. Feminism is about making the world understand and perceive the strength of women in a different way. We're strong, and we're women. Culture, I respect you. Please respect me. Thank you.